No matter how frequently you fly, whether it be for leisure or work, we're pretty sure there are still some things you're not aware about airline hacks, but no need to fret. Today, we're about to share with you a list of travel secrets only flight attendants know about, so stay tuned to find out more. If you have to choose, opt for bottled water. A flight attendant from Southwest Airlines named Holly Hansen shared a life hack to Women's Health back in 2017 that you should opt for bottled water for hygienic purposes. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with the water being served on flights, but if you have to choose to pick bottled water, then you should do so according to Hansen. The reason for this is because the jet's tap water is difficult to thoroughly clean, shared Hansen. Studies show bacteria like E. coli can linger in them. Skip coffee and tea, some airlines make it from that H2O. The ice is okay, though it's catered, explained the attendant, but if you're trying to save some cash, then our best suggestion is to bring your own instead. Another mindful thing to do before you board your flight is to be hydrated. Another flight attendant from Hawaiian Airlines, Heather Sanchez, advises that you should hydrate yourself since the humidity inside the plane is usually an arid 10%, which can prompt a terrible headache. Aside from drinking water, Sanchez also suggested that you should make your own catnap kit. She lists several items in her catnap kit, which includes an eye mask with built-in eye cavities, a neck pillow, and of course, noise-canceling headphones. It's best to invest in eye masks that can block out light without smudging your mascara or eye makeup too. Sitting in a confined space for a long period, you're bound to get stressed sooner or later. For this, she suggests purchasing a tiny hand massager, which you should bring with you on your flight. If you're not into that, then she suggests that you should try this stretching exercise. Lightly squeeze the top of your left trapezius muscle. It runs between your shoulder and the base of your skull while turning your head to the right. Repeat on the other side, Sanchez advised. For those of you who suffer from flight swollen feet, she advises that you try and walk the length of the cabin to prevent blood from pooling in your feet, which makes them swollen. Of course, you can't always walk within the cabin aisle, so your best option is to walk it off or take a hike as soon as the plane lands. Sweating it out actually helps you shake off that jet lag too. Experiencing bloatedness and crankiness during the flight? Cut the carbs and skip sugary drinks. Alaska Airlines' Kiera Jenkins learned from experience some of the most stressful situations as a flight attendant and shares several tips on what to do with these inconveniences. If you ever feel bloated while on the flight, avoid snacking while you're still on land, whether it be before takeoff or landing. The reason for this is that gas expands in your gut as you extend, which results in a puffed out stomach that can result in abdominal pains. It's suggested that you should eat mid-flight if you can, or try nibbling on ginger to avoid this problem. When you do snack on the flight, it's best to be mindful of what you eat and cut the carbs. Processed grains tend to leave you sluggish, so make good choices and pack a veggie sandwich. Her last tip for passengers to have a good snooze on the flight is to meditate. There are a variety of meditative exercises that you can look up to that can help ease your way to sleep during flights. Having trouble sleeping in hotels? Bring a bit of home for comfort. Holly Hansen also advises you should bring a comfort object that reminds you of home if you're having trouble adjusting to sleeping in hotels or new places. Maybe a blanket or pillowcase to help you settle in and sleep better. Like many other flight attendants, Hansen advises you to get your daily dose of vitamin D, especially if you came in from a long flight. Wiggling my toes in the grass and enjoying sunlight and vitamin D makes me feel good after a long day of travel, the attendant shares. Hansen also shared a tip to ward off airborne nasties during flights, and that's to turn your vent on low and point it toward your lap to blow infectious particles away from your face. Make sure to wipe down the nozzle first before you do this. Since we're on the topic of disinfection, make sure to pack your own hygiene kit with alcohol wipes or even a 60% alcohol-based sanitizer to wipe off tray tables. These tables contain 10 times more bacteria than a toilet flush button simply because some people use the tray tables to change their kids' diapers on them. Another thing most people are unaware of concerns the blankets and pillows on flights. If these come in a sealed bag, which you need to pay extra for, then they're guaranteed to be newly washed so you don't have to worry if these are soiled. But if they aren't, then most likely these blankets and pillows were used and tossed in the overhead compartment. It's best to bring your own if you don't want to pay extra for these blankets. Skip the coffee. When the person serving you coffee mid-flight expresses a distaste for the beverage they're serving, then it'd be good to believe what they say. Coffee may seem like a good choice to drink to get you through the rest of the flight, but then again, many chemicals within that drink will probably do more harm than good since the water tanks of planes aren't regularly and thoroughly clean. Like what we stated earlier in the beginning of the article, just opt for bottled water. And while we're at it, the meals served during flights, well, They're not as nutritious as you think they are, and yes, even the salads. As part of their training, flight attendants are made aware that the food they're serving has no nutritional benefits, but if you don't order airline meals that frequently, then there's no problem with that. Dress comfortably, but also dress to impress. One of the things unknown to many is that as we board the aircraft, a lot of flight attendants are already assessing the passengers, especially those who know how to carry themselves well. Sure, we all need to wear something comfortable during long flights, but a good choice in clothing can get you an upgrade for free. Let's not forget, bring your manners to complete the look. Don't be mistaken about the fact that just being nice to your attendant doesn't automatically guarantee you a seat upgrade. It depends on the attendant as well as whether or not you're a loyal member of a certain airline or have reached a certain number of points. Regardless of these conditions, you should always exercise politeness to your attendants. Life hack and baggage fees. One attendant shared a tip to bypass the fee for stowing luggage, and no, it's not about stuffing in your overhead compartment. If you want to take your luggage into the airplane and not pay for checked baggage fees, take your bags to the gate and just say you're willing to check your luggage at the gate to free up space. The attendant advised the gate attendant will almost always check it free of charge. They're not just glamorized waiters. Sure, the main job of flight attendants is to assist passengers on board the plane, but that doesn't necessarily equate them to being a glamorized version of waiters. They undergo rigorous training and are required to take a written exam of which scoring below 90% will leave them jobless. Aside from learning how to serve and treat passengers, flight attendants are also taught about the mechanics of an aircraft, so don't let their good looks fool you. There's a lot more to them than meets the eye. Don't go barefoot. You've probably seen a few fellow passengers who've taken off their shoes and socks, then walked barefoot to the toilet. Don't be that type of passenger. You may think that the carpet on the plane is immaculate, seeing as it's cleaned and sanitized, but it definitely doesn't get thorough cleaning it needs. FYI, that carpet has probably been vomited on and has witnessed a lot more spills than anybody on the plane, so to keep it short, it's unsanitary. Just do yourself and the attendants a favor by keeping your socks and shoes on. Pack smart and keep it neat. As someone always on the go, there's not much time left for packing and even less time to make yourself presentable to passengers on the job. Do you constantly get in trouble because of your crumpled clothes but you have no iron to use? A flat iron will do the trick. One flight attendant attests to this, saying, use your flat iron to touch up your clothes when you're in a rush and there's no time for the ironing board. Nobody has the space to actually pack an iron, so you might as well make do with what you have. Another important thing when traveling is packing. We all tend to overpack sometimes, but it's much better to pack smartly, no? A certain attendant from American Airlines shares her tip. Limit the number of shoes you bring. These take up the most space in your suitcase. Then fold all the jeans and pants as you normally would and roll them up, placing them on top of the shoes next to each other. Then do the same for short. Lastly, all underwear and socks go on the top or in empty crevices. So next time you're packing, you know the drill. Since we're out of time, that pretty much wraps up today's video about travel secrets only flight attendants know. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel before you go. Thanks for watching. Until next episode.